So this next gecko so these next two are my newest snakes that I've gotten that she is in fact trying to eat my finger. She jumped on the camera. She jumped on the camera. There she goes. Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Tyler Rugge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are finally filming another Meet All of My Pets video. I can't believe it's been almost 2 years, or maybe even more than 2 years. So I have a few things I need to say, I think, before I actually get into introducing you guys to all of my animals and just some general... Yes, thank you. Just some general disclaimers, because obviously having over 100 animals is a little bit alarming, and there's just some things I need to say about that. So first of all, I'm not 100% sure if I'm technically going to be showing 100 animals in this video. It might be close. You can count if you really want to, but there will be a lot. There are over 100 animals that live in my house, but not all of them are mine. Most of them are mine, but some of them also belong to Maddie, and I'm not going to be showing all of her animals because that would make the video a lot longer, and they're technically not mine, and I don't usually show her animals very much on my channel anyway. So if you want to know what Maddie has, I can link her channel down below, and I mean, she has Meet My Pets videos. They're not really updated. We breed geckos. I have a video where I showed pretty much all of our geckos. Again, it's not updated, but I'll link that down below. I'm gonna do an updated one eventually, I'm sure. But I'm gonna show all of my crested geckos and my current breeding projects. So you'll get to see like my adult crested geckos at least, and some of them are really cool, so I'm excited for that. Also, in case you're new here, any random sounds you hear in the background are in fact my birds who you'll get to meet, luckily. Just some general disclaimers, first of all. In making this, I am not trying to promote having a ton of animals. You do not need to have a ton of pets. I feel like I could make a whole video just about disclaimers, but I'm not trying to promote people to go out and get a billion different animals, because for most people that would be extremely irresponsible. Now Tyler, you're a hypocrite, because here you are. Yeah, maybe kind of. But I work from home, I do social media for a job, and I have a business that revolves around breeding geckos now. I just have all of the time to take care of all the animals. I love what I do. But having a lot definitely isn't for everyone. It's a lot of work. So don't go out and buy a bunch of animals. If you want to have a lot of animals and you think you can do it, then maybe go about it slowly and responsibly. Make sure you do your research. And that's another thing. If you see any animals in this video that you think, wow, that's really cool, I want to get one, that's awesome. I have some videos on my channel that might help you learn more about them. I just heavily encourage you to do a lot of research before getting any animal in this video, especially because a lot of animals that I have aren't super easy. Some of them are, but not all of them. So with all of that being said, I want to get into introducing you guys to all of my animals, almost 100 or more. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Probably. I'm probably forgetting things. Thank you. All right, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just get into it. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'll link down below so that you can keep up with everything everywhere else. Because I post a lot about my animals and other random things on those platforms as well. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So this is Nova. She is a boxer husky mix, and I rescued her. So I don't know exactly how old she is. She's probably around 9-ish years old. She's a really good girl. She's also no longer alive, as you can probably tell. This is not a living being, but I did actually have a dog named Nova, and I'm not over it. So this is how we cope with things around here, clearly. Is it healthy? Probably not. All jokes aside though, Nova was like the best dog I ever had. If anyone who's subscribed to me knows, but she was just like my entire life, and she passed away somewhat recently, and yeah, I'm literally not over it yet. I don't know if I ever will be. She was just the weirdest, strangest, most unique dog that I've ever met, and the fact that I was able to have any amount of time with her was just amazing, and I miss her. I have a memorial video of a bunch of clips of Nova, and I would highly recommend you check it out because she is the silliest dog literally ever. We also have another dog, which is technically Maddie's dog, but she's her name is Ellie. She's a border collie, and she's a really smart dog. I love her. She's not here with me right now. She's not home, so unfortunately I can't show you her physically, but here are some of my favorite pictures of her. She's very silly, and she's a very good girl. All right, so this is Gizmo. Gizmo needs a beak trim, so just excuse that. It grows really fast. Anyways, Gizmo is my severe macaw, and believe it or not, he is the oldest animal and also the oldest living thing in our house right now, because he is 29, I think, because he's 4 years older than me. So yeah, crazy Gizzy, you're almost 30. Yeah, 30 years old, huh? You are old AF. Amazing. My parents got Gizmo before I was born, so I've had him my entire life. Lets me pet him sometimes. Yeah, Gizzy, good bird. So I could never do that before. Sometimes I still can, but sometimes I can, right, Gizzy? Yeah, yes, Gizzy's a good bird. Good bird, Gizzy. I'm honestly shocked that he's letting me pet him that much, but yeah. He's just a grumpy old man. Parrots are definitely one of those things where it's a big commitment. Think very hard before you get one. Now with that being said, I have two, so let's get the other one out. So this is my other parrot, Gypsy, and Gypsy is an African gray. I think they're the most intelligent parrot, if I'm not mistaken. They're very smart, very good at mimicking sounds, and also live a very long time. They can live upwards of around 80 years, maybe longer. Obviously it varies, but she might outlive me, which is kind of scary. I think she's 7 or 8-ish. She gonna poop? She did poop. I have a towel down though, don't worry. So I rescued Gypsy, I believe, in 2017. She was at a local bird store that takes in birds that people don't want anymore. So she had an owner that moved away and left her basically because they were moving to a different state and they couldn't take her. She already had the name Gypsy. Yes. She already had the name Gypsy when I got her, and I just decided to not change it because I figured, she's probably used to that name or whatever. Love them, but also huge commitment, very time consuming, and very long lifespan, obviously. So that is my African gray. Moving on. So then moving along to fish tanks and aquariums, because I have a few of those around the house. So the very first one that I ever set up was my freshwater aquarium. It was originally just a crappy tank that I got from PetSmart, and then I upgraded to this really cool custom aquarium from Custom Aquariums, which I will link down below because it's just such a beautiful tank. It's 90 gallons total. I think the display is 70 gallons, something like that, and then there's a sump underneath. So in that tank, my main display fish are some angelfish, and then I also have a school of cardinal tetras, and there's also just a few other random things in there, like there's some shrimp. The background, in case you were wondering, is from Aqua Decor Backgrounds, which I will also link down below because it's such a beautiful custom background. They make custom backgrounds for any enclosure, so they can do reptile enclosure backgrounds or aquariums. So other than that, I also have a saltwater tank. I only have 2 fish in there right now. I really want to get a bigger and better aquarium and just get better equipment and start fresh and do a really cool reef tank or something, but I have so many other projects I'm working on, so that's just not on my priority list. So this tank is really lame, but I do really enjoy the 2 fish I have in there, so shout out to them. So then I have a yellow-bellied slider in a 120-gallon aquarium in my living room. Her name is Turtle, and I also rescued her, so she was rehomed to me by someone who had her. I think they won her at a fair or something, and they kept her for 12 years in really bad conditions. She was kept in a 20-gallon tank, which is really small for a turtle of her size, and just such shallow, disgusting water, was not filtered. And yeah, her name is just Turtle because that's all they ever called her. They just called her Turtle. So that's just Turtle. So this is Letty, my sulcata tortoise, who I found outside in a parking lot in Michigan. She's wild caught. Just kidding. Sulcata tortoises are actually native to Africa, so the chances of me finding her outside in Michigan were pretty slim. Don't know how old she is. She's pretty young though, considering she's this small and she's gonna get really big. She is now mine. I have claimed her, and she is a very good girl. She's another animal that will probably outlive me, so that's really cool too. She's like, yeah, that is pretty cool. This is my rabbit, Olive. Olive is a rabbit that I actually rescued to be a bonded pair with my other rabbit, Desmond, who is a Flemish giant. Desmond unfortunately passed away a little while ago from old age. He was a pretty old rabbit for a Flemish giant. Flemish giants don't live as long as a lot of other rabbits because they're so much bigger. But it was really sad because they were a bonded pair and they really loved each other. I do plan on getting another rabbit. We have to go meet some buns and do some speed dating, so that'll be an upcoming video. I love her. She's so cute. Then we have my hedgehog. This is Momo. Here she comes. She's coming out. There's dirt inside of her currently, so it's just gonna fall out as she unfolds. So I got Momo probably about 3 years ago, which would make her around 3 or 4 years old. Look how cute she is. She is the cutest little hog ever. Hi. Hedgehogs are absolutely adorable, but they do poop everywhere. Like, she's probably gonna poop on me. I'm surprised she hasn't already. She's like, I just need a couple minutes to get the bowels going. I just woke up and then I'm gonna shit all over you. I love the little grumpy face. But yeah, she is a hedgehog and I love her. So next up we have Malachi. Malachi is my bearded dragon who is rehomed to me again. A decent amount of my animals are like rehomes. He's gotta be around 10 years old at this point because he was pretty old when I got him a few years ago. He did whip me with his tail though when I was trying to get him out. Isn't that right, Malachi? You're being kind of rude.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Oh.
Next up, we have Goob, a leopard gecko, who was also rehomed to me recently, just a couple months ago. So Goob was also an animal who like wasn't taken great care of at all. He was kept in like a 10-gallon tank that was just had some rocks on the bottom. It was covered in shit, and he had like a cardboard box hide or something. I don't know. Not how you take care of a leopard gecko, so he is now living his best life. He was like pretty fat when I got him. He's lost a little bit of that weight. He's doing better. He's probably pretty old too. I don't know.
Hey there.
Hello, how old is Goob?
Oh god. Probably like 10?
Goob is also probably around 10 years old. So then we have Castor. He is my blue-tongued skink. Hey Gypsy, can you chill with the bell for a second? I'm filming a video. Anyways, Castor, we're just gonna have to ignore that for a second. Now she stops. Castor is about 4 years old. Yeah, he's also kind of covered in dirt because he was buried in his enclosure. I had to dig him up, but that's Castor. One of my eyes is randomly deciding to ruin my life, so just ignore that. So this is Ollie, our fat-tailed gecko. Oh my gosh, oh no! He's so fast, wow. Just want you guys to see his cute little face, because he is so cute. Look at his little face. Wow. That's so good. So I actually don't think I've ever shown Ollie on my channel yet because he's actually relatively new to us and I just didn't get around to making a video about him yet, but here we are. He was also rehomed to us by someone who just was looking to rehome him. We couldn't resist because we wanted a fat tail and we thought he was really cute. So we were like, yes, let's take him in, let's give him a good home. So next up, I'm gonna start introducing you guys to some of our crested geckos. So this is Lance, who is the very first crested gecko I ever got. He is a pinstripe crested gecko. So you can see he has like the two kind of stripes that go down his dorsal down to the tail. There's no breaks in those lines, which makes him a full pinstripe. They're just really cute and unique looking. So next up we have Luna. So Luna is a partial pinstripe crested gecko, and the way you can tell that is if you look at her dorsal, you can see kind of like the lines going down the sides, but there is a break right down there in the line. So she's considered a partial pinstripe. This is Zorro. Zorro is one of the first geckos. I think he might be the first gecko I invested in for breeding. So Zorro is actually a pretty well-known gecko in the like crested gecko breeding space for anyone who's been breeding geckos for a long time. He was produced by Altitude Exotics, who's a really good crested gecko breeder, and he's just a really good quad stripe crested gecko. He doesn't look like he's fully fired up right now. He has a really dark base color. So all crested geckos are born with tails, but they have this really cool defense mechanism where they drop their tail if they get startled, and then the tail just like does this on the ground. And this is to distract the predator so that they can make their getaway. The issue is they do not regrow their tails. Once they drop it, they just have a frog butt. I just get questions a lot about why some of them have tails and some of them don't. And believe it or not, I am not chopping them off myself. So this next gecko that he just jumped on the floor. He's a crazy one, okay? And not only is he crazy, but he is my most expensive gecko. So this is Captain Olimer. You just look at him, you can tell the difference between him and the other geckos I've shown you. He's definitely got the most impressive pattern. He is a tricolor, and we are doing tricolor projects, a lot of them. He's just like one of the coolest tricolors I've ever seen. So I was like, I need to get him. And yeah, just amazing. Yeah, that's Captain Olimer, and he wants to die apparently. So we're gonna try to prevent that from happening. So next up, Daisy. Now Daisy's a really pretty gecko too. We have this female tricolor. She's actually the most recent gecko that I purchased. Her name is Samus. It was the first thing that came to my mind, and I feel like it kind of works. Like, does she not just look like a Samus to you? If you looked at this and the first thing you thought of wasn't Samus, then I really just don't know what to tell you. You're wrong. I think she's fully fired up. This is Zelda. So she's a female tricolor as well. Zelda is a female that I plan on most likely pairing to Captain Olimer, just because they are both pretty impressive tricolors. She has a lot going on. And I mean, just look at those colors. She's absolutely gorgeous. Please don't jump though. That's the only issue, is they like to jump. She jumped on the camera. She jumped on the there she goes. Bestie. Hello. Come back here. So yeah, that's Zelda. So this is the first Dalmatian that I have invested in. His name is Domino, which is a very unique name for an animal with spots, I know. So as you can see, he has a pretty light base, and he also has quite a bit of Dalmatian spots. And as geckos grow, their pattern and things kind of develop and change over time until they're adult sized. So with Dalmatians, they'll actually develop more spots over time. Anyways, I'm really excited to introduce you to this gecko because his name is Ganondorf. Does he look like a Ganondorf? I don't know. He definitely looks like a Ganondorf. So this right here is Epona, and she is a female that I bought pretty recently. If she looks a little chunk, is yes, because she has eggs inside of her. She was already gravid. The person selling her was like, yeah, she's laying eggs. So I purchased her because I was like, not only is she like a pretty good gecko, but she's laying eggs. So I mean, might as well just, you know. I got her in literally like 2 days after receiving her, she laid eggs. And I was like, wow. So yeah, she's on my back now, but, oh. Epona, where are you going? Huh? What are you doing back there? Get back here. So yeah, that's Epona. She is laying some eggies, and what they will produce, I don't know, we will see. Is this the last crested gecko I have to show you? I think it is. So this is Peach. She has some dirt on her feet, so just ignore that. Yeah, that is the last gecko I have to show you guys, I think. Like I said, we have more geckos, we have babies and different things. If you guys want to see all of the geckos we have and stay up to date on all of that, I would highly recommend following our Instagram page, which is at Celestial Exotics. This is our reptile breeding page. We also have a website, which is celestialexotics.net. We have gecko food for sale, different reptile supplies, really cute stickers, all kinds of things. Check it out. Free shipping in the United States on all orders. I have more reptiles to show you. I have snakes. But before we get into the snakes, I have quite a few of those. I want to show you guys the frogs and also the different invertebrates that I have. The first one being a dwarf African bullfrog or a pixie frog. So my bullfrog's name is Sealing. I'm not taking him out to hold him because he doesn't like being held and he would probably pee all over the place. Just trying to avoid all of that from happening. And then I have a red-eyed tree frog that I rescued from Craigslist. There was just someone on Craigslist that wasn't taking great care of their tree frogs. There were 3 of them. When I went to get them, they were like, oh, there's actually only 2. So that was kind of suspicious. They couldn't find the 3rd one. I brought 2 home and one of them ended up dying after about a week or so, or a couple weeks, I don't remember exactly. But the other one actually ended up making it. It's doing really good. I still haven't named it for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, that's my red-eyed tree frog. And then I have 3 poison dart frogs. They are Dendrobates tinctorius patricia, and they live in this bioactive setup that I made for them. Probably won't be able to find all of them because they are really good at hiding and I don't like poking around for them. And then I also actually have 2 geckos in here as well that I haven't told you guys about. So I have 2 mourning geckos. Again, not sure if I'll be able to find them. They're really tiny geckos and they just are really good at hiding. Mourning geckos can actually be cohabbed with dart frogs because the mourning geckos usually hang out more on the top of the enclosure because they're arboreal, and then the dart frogs usually hang out more close to the bottom. They're similarly sized and they just kind of ignore each other, so people often will keep them together, so I decided to give it a try. So I almost forgot to introduce you guys to my Obronia graminia because I keep them outside during the summer. So let's introduce you to these really cool lizards. They're also known as Mexican alligator lizards. So these are my Obronia graminia. I have a breeding pair. This is the female and this is the male. The male's name is Jupiter and the female's name is Juno. The female doesn't like being handled quite as much, so I'm gonna put her back. But Jupiter's pretty chill. There's more people now that are able to breed them in captivity, which is nice. So that's my goal, is to breed them, and that has been my goal for a while now. And it hasn't been very successful. However, I've had them for a few years now and they've never bred, but a few months ago actually, which is a very strange time of year for them to reproduce, I did see them. I think they were locked up. I didn't actually physically see them locked up, but I saw them. They were in like a cork round and the male was on top of the female biting her head, which is completely normal during breeding. So I saw the head biting. So I think they might have potentially locked up. So I'm hoping the female will give birth to some babies, and Obronia actually do give live birth. And yeah, they're just these really beautiful lizards, and they're one of my favorite lizards, just aesthetically at least. I think they're so beautiful. And as you saw, some are more chill than others. Juno does not enjoy being handled, but Jupiter, once I get him out, he's fine. Like, he just sits here and chills. Those are my Abronias. One more gecko I wanted to show you guys is Goggles, our Chihuahua gecko. She was rehomed to us and she has MBD and really big bulgy eyes, and she's just very deformed, but we love her anyway. She's iconic. Now we get to the fun part, which is invertebrates and just, you know, insects, different things like that. First, I want to talk about my isopods because they're just the coolest things ever. You have your classic dwarf white isopod. These are the most common probably for cleanup crew in tropical enclosures. There are powder blue isopods, which are just this really cool blue color. There's powder orange, which are these orange colored isopods. And then one of my personal favorites that I have is the dairy cow isopod, which gets its name. You can probably tell by looking at it. They're white isopods that look like they have black splotches on them. And I really like these. I think they're really cute, first of all. Second of all, they're pretty big. Like, they're probably one of the bigger isopods I have. And then I also have a tub of random isopods that I found outside. You guys are gonna love this one. We're moving away from isopods now. This is a Vietnamese centipede that I got. They're very large, very fast, very venomous. Her name is Miss Kitty, so if that helps you get over your fear, there you go. It has a cute name. And then I have an Asian forest scorpion, just one of them. This is the only scorpion that I have as of right now. I'd like to get more scorpions. I think they're really cool. I wouldn't consider all of these pets necessarily, but I want to talk about the different colonies of roaches and stuff that I have. Madagascar hissing cockroaches. These are actually my pet roaches. And it started off that I only had 3 of them, and this was a couple years ago. So since then, they've reproduced and reproduced, and now I have, there's probably hundreds in there at this point. I have a ton of hissing cockroaches. They get their name because when you touch them, they make a hissing sound, but they're completely harmless. Then I have a colony of dubia roaches. Dubia roaches are just a really common type of roach people will keep a colony of as feeders for their reptiles. So I do just feed these roaches off. And then I also recently started my own little colony of red runner roaches. Now these roaches freak me out a little bit because they literally look like the roaches that would infest your home. They're so fast. They're called red runners because they run so fast. Like, I have trouble catching them with my tongs because they're so quick. But I got them because they're like the perfect size to feed my tarantula slings. And again, they reproduce pretty easily. I just like them better than crickets. The red runners are freaky, but they exist in my closet. Then we can get into all of my tarantulas. So I have a decent amount of tarantulas. Let's go through all of them. First, we have my Goody Sapphire, or my Poecilotheria metallica. These guys are absolutely beautiful. Mine is a male and is also pretty old. I have a Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, or a green bottle blue tarantula. And then I have my Heteroscodra maculata, also known as the Togo starburst baboon. I got my Aphonopelma calicotes, which is an Arizona blonde tarantula. Then I have a I always have trouble with this, Tlitocatl albopilosum, also known as a Nicaraguan curly hair tarantula. I have a Nandu chromatus, also known as a Brazilian red and white tarantula. Next one is a Hapalapis sp Columbia, also known as a pumpkin patch tarantula. Then I have a Grammostola pulchra, also known as a Brazilian black. And last but not least, we have my Brachypelma hamori, also known as Mexican red knee. I think the B. hamori actually might be the first tarantula I ever got as like a teeny tiny little sling that was literally like the size of my pinky nail. So yeah, that is it for all of my inverts, I believe. Last but not least, I'm going to be introducing you guys to all of my snakes. So I have 12 snakes to show you guys. This is Monty. He is just a normal ball python. I remember back when I was deciding what kind of pet snake I wanted, I was kind of between a corn snake or a ball python. And I chose ball python because I wanted a snake that got really big. Now, if you don't keep snakes, you probably look at this and you're like, wow, that's a big snake. But my idea of big snake has changed since then. And I have, you'll see, much bigger snakes now. He is an adult ball python. I got him, it has to have been like 8 years ago now. So he's like, you know, around 8 years old. They do live up into their 20s usually. So he still has a lot of life left in him. Look at that little face. Just people who think snakes aren't cute. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, that's Monty. He's my ball python. I love him in case you couldn't tell. Next up, I want to show you guys my other ball pythons. So I actually only have 2 ball pythons. This is Tesla. So Tesla is a VPI lesser axanthic ball python, which is just a fancy morph basically. You can see he's a little bit different color than Monty was. Cute puppy face, danger noodle, alert, amazing. This is Sprinkles. Sprinkles is a palmetto corn snake. He obviously has his name because he has this really cool coloration on him that makes him look like he has sprinkles all over him. So then we have my other corn snake. This is Obi. And what you'll notice about Obi is he looks a little bit different than a lot of other snakes, and that's because he is a scaleless corn snake. So scaleless corn snakes don't have scales for the most part. If you look really closely, you might see 1 or 2 scales. And then they do still have their ventral scales, which are the scales at the bottom of their body that they kind of use as like little feet to move around. That's a very like not good description probably of what a ventral scale is. They are not feet, but that's what they use to move, okay? So they are actually found in the wild. Like the first specimen of scaleless corn snakes were found in the wild as adults. And it is something that is naturally occurring. It's not something that we like selectively bred and created. Naked danger noodle. So I have 2 tricolored hognoses. This is Gucci and this is Versace. Versace was actually Maddie's, but she let me have him because he was a very picky eater and she was just kind of sick of dealing with him because you have to go through a whole ritual to get him to eat half the time. Being a picky and difficult eater is something that is very common with tricolored hognoses, so for that reason I wouldn't necessarily recommend one to someone who's getting their first snake or anything, because if they're a picky eater it can be a pain in the butt. So this next one I'm about to show you is extremely feisty. I hope she doesn't bite me. She usually does recently. She hasn't been very nice to me recently. I don't know what it is. This is my Brazilian rainbow boa. Her name is Aphrodite. She bit my face once. That was really fun. Hi, yes, I am your friend. Remember me? I feed you all the time, and you used to not hate me. It's actually going well so far. So this is Aphrodite. Just gonna try to not let her get too close to my face. She is a Brazilian rainbow boa. So this is Opal, and she is my sunbeam snake. Now sunbeam snakes are just stunning. I hope the camera's picking it up well. They're extremely iridescent. They're just so pretty. Their faces are very unique too. They look like little worms. The only thing that I dislike about keeping sunbeam snakes as pets is they spend pretty much all of their time underground. So I don't really see her very often. Sometimes when I go in there, I'll see her little head poking out of the ground, and then I'll usually see her when I'm feeding her. This next one is going to be interesting because she has neurological issues. So this is Egret, and Egret is getting a little bit too close to my face for comfort. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, she does not know what's going on. Not a single thought behind this animal. She's very beautiful though. So this is a jaguar carpet python. The jaguar gene causes neurological issues, so you can see like right now she's upside down. That is not natural for a snake. A snake that has any body awareness would not be doing this right now. And a lot of people don't like to support purchasing animals like this. I got Egret from someone who is rehoming her. I personally would not buy a jaguar carpet python, but she is very pretty. The unfortunate thing is people are willing to look past the issues this gene causes just because it makes a pretty snake. Hard to disagree there. She's a very beautiful snake. It's just unfortunate that some of these genes cause issues in reptiles. So next up we have Athena. Athena is my common boa, and she's probably around 4 or 5 years old now. And yeah, after a ball python was no longer satisfying to me as a large snake, I was like, let's get something bigger. And I decided I wanted a boa. So these next two are my newest snakes that I've gotten that I actually... Anyways, she is in fact trying to eat my finger. So we love that. You realize, bestie, that that is my pinky finger and not a meal. Anyways, these are my Mexican black king snakes. This one is trying to eat my pinky right now. So this is Raven and this is Jethro, and they are my breeding pair. So yeah, the male's the bigger one. He's quite a bit bigger than the female, who is, you know, still trying to eat my finger. So just quirky things. She's never bit me before, but anyways, I guess I should try to remove this from me and then put her back. Amazing. Okay. So last but not least for all my snakes and all my pets, we have Solomon. So Solomon is also a very long snake. He is my dwarf reticulated python. He's actually in shed right now, so his colors are a little bit dulled out and he has like the milky film over his eyes. My finger's also about to bleed on him. He's really pretty. He is a motley tiger dwarf retic. So dwarf reticulated pythons don't get as big as regular reticulated pythons, but they also don't stay as small as super dwarfs. But I wanted a retic because they have such cool personalities. They're very smart and inquisitive snakes, but I didn't have the space to have like a full retic, you know? So I was like, let's get a dwarf. Because I mean, super dwarfs are really cool too, but I wanted one that was gonna get a little bigger. So I thought this was a good size for me. Solomon is the perfect size noodle. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. It only took me like 5 hours to film this, but I'm glad that you guys were finally able to see all of my animals in one video, and now you know everything that I have other than the geckos I didn't show you in Maddie's animals at least. If you guys want to stay up to date on just everything, I'm sometimes bad at updating you guys on YouTube, but if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, those are all really good platforms I use a lot. They're all just at Tyler Rugge. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new here and you want to see more of me and my animals. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I will see you in the next one.